It's an unusual kind of map, a place rarely visited. At nearly 1.5 times the size of the United States, it remains largely an unexplored land of questions. Now scientists are starting to thaw out some of the answers by looking at Antarctica in a new way. In a trip only possible inside the virtual world of a computer, we'll take you on a flying tour of the frozen continent. Our first stop, the largest of Antarctica's permanent facilities, populated year-round by researchers and support staff. It's McMurdo Station, the pale white starfish in the center of the screen. Just past the station, we find the McMurdo Dry Valleys. Beyond them, the Allen Hills climb to the sky. The Allen Hills are where scientists have found fragments of meteorites, brushed free from surrounding material by winds and solar radiation. A few of these fragments are believed to have come from Mars. Zooming past the Byrd Glacier, past the Transantarctic Mountains, and then out across the vast icy plains, our approaching target looks like a single snowflake fallen onto a sheet of glass. At the Amundsen Scott South Pole Research Station, note the 14,000-foot runway built for airplanes with skis instead of wheels. The station is named for the leaders of the first two teams to reach the pole. Amundsen's Norwegian team made it back home. Scott and his British crew did not. As we leave the smoothness of the Antarctic high country and slingshot our way back towards the coast, we discover streams of flowing ice and volcanoes peeking up from a gelid bed of snow. Traveling in virtual space, it's interesting to note that light and dark areas of the map are not actually shadows. Like its name implies, RadarSat uses radar instead of visible light to make its images. Thus, areas that are more radar reflective appear dark, while less radar reflectivity appears light. Edging out onto the Antarctic Peninsula, we encounter an enormous termination point for glaciers and an important iceberg birthplace. It's called the Ron Ice Shelf. Note the delicate cracks and seams in the shelf, including one intricate zone that looks like a giant arachnid. It's located on the Hemmen Ice Rise. We pass more streams of flowing ice on our way to the fascinating Thimble Ice Shelf. Thimble curves like a sickle around a sizable arc of Antarctica's coast. Ice shelves are the edges of glaciers extending out into the ocean faster than icebergs can break off from the edge. Icebergs are said to calve, with mountain-sized slabs crashing into the sea from the edges of the shelves. The Thimble Ice Shelf has remained relatively consistent in its appearance for the last 30 years, but researchers are paying close attention to changes. Note the fascinating formations along the Thimble, believed to be the product of glacial ice flowing over rocky outcroppings and islands. Ice shelves are considered to be particularly sensitive to climatic changes, and scientists have detected a marked retreat of several along the Antarctic Peninsula and the Thimble. Skirting the continental perimeter, we come to the Amory Ice Shelf. From Amory, we cut inland to a dramatic point. The frozen Lake Vostok is home to a Russian outpost. As we approach, you'll note a long, lonely road leading across the lake to reach the facility. It's built more than 4.5 kilometers above what's believed to be a freshwater, still liquid lake, heated by geothermal energy and maintained by the immense blanket of insulation provided by practically endless ice. Passing Vostok Station, we find ourselves flying over elegant and dramatic ripples, as if a giant silk tablecloth had been caught in a spring breeze. These snow dunes are far longer and lower than the more familiar sand dunes found in other parts of the world. Seen by RadarSat, the light and dark areas show the differentiation between heavy and light particles of snow, which have settled out on different sides of the dunes as a result of complex wind variations. We're almost at the end of our virtual tour. As a result of the Antarctic Treaty, territorial claims to the frozen continent are currently suspended, yet many nations are working cooperatively to preserve this pristine, remarkable continent for peaceful scientific purposes. Despite the challenges it presents to those who brave its grasp, Antarctica is a land of mystery and complex beauty. With these new RadarSat images, researchers hope to increase their understanding about the remarkable continent at the bottom of the world.